Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing this weekend or this week? Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. TGIF, of course. I'm going to go ahead and make our salutations short. We'll catch it on the back end for those people that want to stay in chit chat because we have a lot to go over today. So let's say hello first and foremost to all of our moderators. Hello, ladies. I see you're all here today. Miss Worm is here. And who else we got here? Stuart's prepping, A Hobbit, Darlene Carter, JT, hello. Michael Eversberg, how are you doing? Jan is here. Yarn Preppers in the house also. Linda Bob, Sherry, hello. Lisa Foster, how are you? Let's see who else. Dimbula Blade Works, how are you doing? Good to see you. Chillin' Dave, how are you? Jan Penland, how are you doing? I already said hello to Jan. Oh, goodness. I'm a little off my game, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an eventful last 10 days or so. Brooklyn, Fraser, Chris Hamill, and of course, the world is only getting crazier. We do have a lot of stuff to go over. Big Bad John, how you doing? Good to see you. Boone 22, I'm getting a 5x5. Hopefully, I'm coming in good. I can't believe that our reception here today, or at least my internet coverage here today, is probably the best that I've ever seen as far as speeds for upload and download. So hopefully, we are coming in loud and clear. Hello, Sheila. How you doing? Renee, how are you? And Angela Land, how are you doing? Anonymous Constitutionalist, I like that. How you doing? Good to see you. Betty Randall, hello. AZ Watchwoman, hello. Joshua Ryman, how you doing? Deborah Ramirez, how are you? Disabled and Prepping. Good to see you all, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Amy Lou, how are you doing? Good to see you. Craig D. Penny Willis. Next, Zit. Teresa Ann Palmer from the great state of Louisiana. How are you doing? Storm Weather. How are you? Let's see. Chelsea Hutchinson is here. Say hello to the little ones. Howdy from Eastern Washington State from Trouble Bear Stetter. How are you doing, Trouble Bear? Fran Moyer. Keisha Wagner is in the house. How you doing, Keisha? Good to see you. Let's see what else we got going on here. Donna, let's prep. How are you doing? The lighting is good today? Okay, good. It depends what time of the day and what time of the year it is, ladies and gentlemen. I noticed that in the morning time when it's dark outside, it's a little bit different lighting whenever I'm doing a video. But as long as you can see this ugly mug, I guess that's what really matters. Somewhat, that is. Let's see. Garden Girl, how are you doing? Let's see. Garden Girl says that the main shooter is still not found. Oh, really? He's still at large, huh? Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ever give up your Second Amendment rights, no matter what anyone says. Okay? I'm not sure if we're going to get into that here. I'm not sure if I've got something bookmarked to talk about that subject matter. But every time that something like this happens, not taking anything away from the severity of what just happened here 3 days ago, I think it was, where that crazy guy took all those people's lives and then also injured a whole bunch of other. I think it was like a total of 50 plus people, about half of which lost their lives and the other half were injured, from him shooting them. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in, but unfortunately, our political hacks will only use those instances when things like that happen to push forward their agenda in order to disarm we the people. Because they understand, ladies and gentlemen, they understand that a disarmed population is a population that can be easily manipulated into doing whatever it is that those that are in power that actually have the firearms want them to do. And let me go ahead and put this out there for anyone that thinks that giving up your Second Amendment right is the right way to go, that will bring peace, right? Think about it this way, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you, and you can ask this to anyone that is in favor of we the people giving up our right to defend ourselves, right? Because a firearm is the great equalizer. It will take 110-pound woman and make that small woman just as powerful as a 300-pound man that's trying to hurt her or her baby bears, right, ladies and gentlemen? That's really what it's for. In addition to, of course, we the people being able to stave off a government which may one day, never know if it will, maybe it won't, hopefully it won't, but maybe one day if that government becomes tyrannical, meaning that it wants to take away your freedoms, your God-given rights, that maybe you need something in order to defend those freedoms and God-given rights. Because remember, a God-given right is not a right that's given to you by government. It's supposed to be protected by government, but it's not given to you by government. And therefore, if they're trying to take it away, you have a duty for yourself and your nation as well, ladies and gentlemen, to protect those God-given rights that you were born with. Right? The government doesn't give you rights. They're supposed to protect it, but they don't give them to you. But anyways, you ask people that are in favor of your firearms being taken away, of the Second Amendment being taken away. You ask them, do you trust government? Number one. Do you trust them? And do you also trust all law enforcement? Number two. And do you trust all military? Number three. Because you see, if our Second Amendment were stripped from us, those are the people that are going to end up keeping arms. It will be government officials, number one. It will be the military, number two. It will be law enforcement, number three. And it seems to me that a lot of those people that want the Second Amendment taken away from us are not very trustworthy of the pre-mentioned institutions, i.e. government, law enforcement, and also the military. Not saying that there's not good people in any of those institutions, ladies and gentlemen, but you all know that it's a mix. There are a lot of good people, but again, you have a lot of bad people. So, same thing with society. And that's why these things amongst society happens. We have mostly good people in society that want to live a peaceful life, that want to, take care of their family, go to work, and just have a good life with their family where they can send their kids to school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then we always have one or two, maybe out of every 1,000 or one or two out of every 100,000 that are nuts. And with the problem that we have with prescription medications in our country, being that the U.S., last time I checked, all right, you can check me on this, but last time I checked, United States of America is one of the most, if not the most, medicated country in the world. And here we have people that are acting out on mental illnesses, which you have to be in order to carry out an attack like was carried out a few days ago. Right? They're acting out on that, and also acting out on having years and years of prescription medications that have messed up their minds. So don't ever let any government pundit try to convince you that you need to give up your Second Amendment. All you have to do is go to the Hawaii EDU, or the website for the Hawaii University. Go to the website for Hawaii University or Hawaii EDU and look up democide. And they've done a study. This was years ago. They conducted a study where they checked all the countries that have committed democide against their own populations. And the numbers are equal to more than a quarter of a billion, ladies and gentlemen. More than 250 million people worldwide lost their lives in the last 100 or so years to democide. What is democide? Well, democide, ladies and gentlemen, is the act of a government either directly taking the lives of their citizens and or creating the conditions that take the lives of their citizens. That's what democide is. And it is not some old kook telling you something that he just made up. This is something that has been studied a lot. So go to the website, go to the internet site, Hawaii University, and look up democide. And they'll tell you by the numbers, what do you think all of those countries that committed democide in the past century or so, what do you think is the first thing that they did, ladies and gentlemen, before they started carrying out democide? Yeah, you got it. You got it. I know what you're thinking. They took away the guns. That's the first thing. So good job. That's what they did, ladies and gentlemen. They took away the guns. And then after they took away the guns for whatever reason, I'm sure it was for their safety, then they started doing these crazy things. Oh, AP, you're so crazy. That's never going to happen in the United States of America. Are you trying to say, AP, that our government would ever do that to us? Is that what you're trying to say? Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Why? Because history shows it. History shows that every government that gets so strong and so big and is at the end of the line wants to take the firearms because it's a lot easier to control the population when they are defenseless against the arms that the government itself has. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You want to say I'm crazy? Go ahead, say I'm crazy. But before you do that, go study a little bit of history and then come back and say I'm crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and take it to the next thing. We might as well just keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the third world, ladies and gentlemen. We have entered into the third world. And I'm going to share with you some reasons why I believe that we've entered into the third world, at least here in these United States of America. And the first one is this right here. Let's see. DOJ asks DC judge to reinstate Trump gag order. Oh my goodness, did I trigger some of you? Did I trigger some of you by saying the word Trump? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and wipe out the name Trump and put in any name that you want, any name that you want. But in this case, being that it is an ex-president of these United States, it makes it that severe that we have judges telling ex-presidents of these United States, for the first time really in history that I know of, telling them that they cannot speak, that they cannot exercise their First Amendment right. And the question for you out there, those that are for this, those that are going, yes, yes, shut up that orange man. The question for you is this: if they can do it to an ex-president of these United States, how hard do you think it'll be for them to do it to you when you want to voice your grievances against the government? Ladies and gentlemen, be careful what you ask for, because although you may be cheering that the orange man gets gagged and they make him shut up, one day it's going to be you, and there's going to be no one there to help you. So be careful what you ask for, ladies and gentlemen. That you disagree with, 100%, they should be able to say whatever they want. It doesn't matter what it is. Feelings are not going to hurt you physically. You know, how else do you say this? Oh yes, sticks and stones will break your bone. Is that how it works? Sticks and stones will break your bones. That's right. But the orange man words, they can't really hurt you. So let the man speak. Give him or allow him to exercise his First Amendment right, because as soon as you take it away from him or cheer for those people that do take it away from him, one day it will be you that it will be taken from, and there will be absolutely no one around to help you. So I hope that we at least learn something from this as far as history goes, because I believe that we live in a place and time, ladies and gentlemen, where we will be talking about these things that we are experiencing today 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And I also believe that there will probably be textbooks written in the future, in the next generation or two, as to how we should not do things, as to how we should not treat our citizens as far as government goes, as to how we should not mistreat the money that we use for our nation as far as our fiat currency and our system goes. They will write books about this, and I'm only hoping that they actually look at those books and learn from our mistakes in the now over in the future, because we're making a lot of mistakes and have been making a lot of mistakes for decades, and unfortunately we're going to pay the price. And let me not lose a lot of you all by triggering some people and saying, well, I never did this, I never did that. When I say we, ladies and gentlemen, I mean we in general, because I always get those, I never did this, I never did that. Right, I understand that. But what I mean is we in general, we the people as a whole. All right, because even if one individual didn't do this or one individual didn't do that, we as a whole did let this happen. We as a whole did allow this to occur, what we're living through right now. And we're going to end up paying the price. And I'm just hoping that we can learn our lesson well enough to pass it down to our children for at least the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 generations. And then after that, ladies and gentlemen, I predict that in about 100 years or 250 years, after we switch over to the next paradigm, that there will be someone in front of a computer just like I am now, talking about how we yearn to be free. And let's see, I got sorry about that. I've got several of these to go through right here. And another one that I wanted to go over, I was going to actually put these in today's video, this morning's video, but it was so many of them that I figure I'd save them for now. And this morning's video, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch that video, because I was talking about, and I think I'm going to talk about it here towards the end of this presentation, but I was talking about something that I haven't really seen anyone talking about on YouTube, and it has to do with the national debt clock, something that I noticed that's very alarming in my opinion. But here, the feds warn that Hamas and Hezbollah could be crossing the southern border. Really, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, act surprised. Are you surprised by this? The feds are warning that we can have T groups crossing the southern border. I'll give you one better than that. And let me know if you disagree with me. I think that they're already here. And they're doing whatever it is that they have to do to get ready to follow whatever orders their masters are going to have them follow if we push the envelope over there in the Middle East. And I guess we'll just have to find that out as it happens, if it happens. And hopefully nothing comes of it. But do you really think that nothing's going to come of it? Ladies and gentlemen, there's sleeper cells in the United States of America. There's already people here that are enemies, that have gotten through the southern border because no one's protecting the southern border. You see, we, and when I say we, of course, our government is a lot more dedicated to taking care of the borders of other countries than it is to taking care of our own border. And, you know, this is a little bit of a touchy subject that some people want to stay away from on YouTube. But let me tell you what, it has nothing to do with any particular country. It has nothing to do with not wanting to help Ukraine. It has nothing to do with not wanting to help Israel or any other country that may need help either in the now or in the future. But you also have to take a look at the countries that we are protecting, but we're not protecting our own. You see, we're protecting all of these other countries and helping them with their borders, but ours is left wide open. And I mean, I did a short video on this not too long ago, and it's all on purpose. This is all being done on purpose. This is the Cloward and Piven strategy being played out perfectly as stated by Cloward and Piven themselves, all right, which is to overload the system. And if you take a look at the video that I put up this morning, that's exactly what's happening. The system is being overloaded to the point where there's absolutely no way, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not even about the debt anymore. It's just about survival. It's just about us exerting enough energy so that they can strip enough of it from us so that we can just survive. It's no longer about just paying the interest. It's just about survival. I'm going to go through a few numbers with you here later on this live stream that's going to blow you away. And the reason is because it's only like a year or two away. A lot of you that have been here for a while, if you all remember me telling you, someone asked me probably about a year, 2 years ago, someone asked me during a live stream, when do you think that things are going to get really, really bad? Well, I often said in the past, I think around the end of 2024, 2025 is going to start getting really bad. And then it's going to get worse and worse and worse than it gets during that time. But I think that there's going to be a climax around 2024, 2025. And when I show you these numbers, you're going to be like, wow, things are going to be extremely bad during that time, just from that one standpoint, not even talking about politics or geopolitics, just from one standpoint alone. All right. So, but we'll go ahead and show you that when the time comes. Let me go ahead and see what else it is that I wanted to go over with you all today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. This is the sponsored portion of this video. Well, it's not really sponsored, but I'm just talking about it. If you take a look here, Nutrient Survival, which has the best nutrient-dense freeze-dried food that there is in the industry, period, all right? Every Friday, they have a Payday Prep. And this Friday's Payday Prep is any of the shakes, either the vanilla shake or the chocolate shake that they sell. You can either get them in the number 10 cans or in the pantry packs and save 25%. Right. So if you would like to support the channel, you can use my link, and then you can use the code Payday, right? Payday for Payday Prep. I knew that I should have trademarked that or copyrighted that the Payday Preps when I first came up with it because it's used so much now. But anyways, I digress, just playing around. So if you want to take advantage of it, 25% off, use the code Payday. And if you want to support this channel, use my link. If you don't have to use my link, but get some nutrient survival anyways, because it is the best, ladies and gentlemen, and most nutrient dense freeze-dried foods and drinks and all that kind of stuff that there is on the market, especially their drinks for this time of the year, like their immune boost. That is a must have this time of the year, right? So having said that, let's go ahead and go to our next talking point here. And about halfway through our talking points, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and stop a little bit and say hello to a few of you that have come on, and maybe answer a few questions for a few minutes, and then we'll go back and finish it up. Massachusetts House passes major gun reform law, including crackdown on ghost guns. Again, those of you that think that you're going to be safer by giving up your right to protect yourselves, all you have to do is take a look at what has happened in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, in Israel, for those of you that don't know, I believe it's their security commissioner. I'm not sure if that's the title or not, but their national security commissioner has invoked a bypass of the law, where he is now saying that he wants to go ahead and have anyone and everyone that wants to be armed to go ahead and apply for an expedited licensing so that they can be armed, so that they can carry arms. So Israel, from my understanding, has in the past had some pretty strict gun laws. And now their own government is saying, hey, we want to arm everyone. So if you don't mind carrying a firearm, come on down. We want to arm you as soon as possible. Imagine had they done that previously. Had they done that in the past and had a culture where they actually had firearms and were encouraged to use firearms and practice with firearms, and they could have then defended themselves during these attacks that occurred here. I think it was on the 7th of October of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, do I want something to happen here in the United States? Absolutely not. But in all actuality, in all honesty, what do you think the probabilities are that there are bad people here right now in the United States, in our borders, that want to do harm to the people? What do you think the probability of that is, with us having such a porous border, with no one coming through really being checked, with over 1.6 million people that have crossed the border illegally, all right, in the last year or two, that have crossed illegally, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't even know who they are, because they are what are called gotaways. In addition to that, a lot of the ones that we actually have caught have been on a watch list of one kind or another, but those are the ones that we've caught. What about the 1.6 million that got away, that were never even vetted? We have no idea who they are. Protect yourselves by making sure that you can protect yourself by using your Second Amendment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because if something like that happens here, I'll tell you what, depending on what city or what state it happens in, whoever is doing it is going to have a heck of a hard time. Sure, there will be casualties at first, but as soon as people smarten up and know what's going on, whoever is doing it is going to have a heck of a hard time, doing whatever it is that they're doing. Right? Take a look at where all of these things happen. I don't even know if Maine, now I think that Maine, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm all the way in the bottom. Let me know. Is Maine one of those states that is hard on the Second Amendment? I'm really not very educated on that. So let me know. Anyone that knows, is Maine one of those states that's hard on the Second Amendment, or that wants people to have firearms to protect themselves? Because I really haven't looked into seeing what kind of politics Maine has. So if any one of you can let me know, let me know. But just imagine if everyone out on the streets where this guy was, I don't even know where it was that this where this monster was, hurting people with his firearm. I think it was an AR-15 that he was using. I don't even know where it was, but imagine if people were armed. I think that, in general, they would have had more of a chance than this guy, than what happened. Let me see. I'm trying to look. Maine is a gun-friendly state. That's great. But, man, yes, they are. Oh, so you see, someone's telling me they're anti-gun. Someone is telling me that they're gun-friendly. Tiff R says our dining room table is full of the Second Amendment. All right, awesome. See, some people are telling me they're friendly. It doesn't matter. Okay, you read that Maine is a constitutional carry. Let me see. Let me see. Renee says, I really feel that our gov may have used a chip or something to it. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. There's been so many things like MK Ultra and all that kind of stuff that you've heard about in the past. You just don't really know what to think nowadays. So you see, someone else is saying yes, they are anti-gun. So I don't know, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think you know where I'm getting at, and that is that the only thing that's going to stop a bad person who wants to do bad things is someone else who's willing to stop them, but someone else who's going to be able to stop them with equal or more force than what they exhibit themselves. So make sure that you put yourselves in a position where if somebody breaks into your home and wants to do harm to you or your family, that you have force that you will be able to use to stop them. Okay, because it's not their life to take, it's yours, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let me go ahead and say thank you very much to R Heath. Thank you, R Heath, very much. Nice to see you, by the way. Oh, well, it's very nice to have you on our live stream. Thank you, R Heath. Always good to see you. Margarita Castaneda, how are you doing? Gifted 5 Alaska Prepper memberships. Awesome. Thank you, Margarita. That is awesome. Let's see. Viking shelters. Seriously an awful situation. We build underground shelters and have done it for 20 years. Wow, really? It's not for everyone, but we can assist those who desire. Well, hey, Viking shelter, go ahead and put your link on in one of the comments. If one of my mods can please catch it when Viking Shelters puts a link up, and if you want to go check it out, ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. Awesome. I wish I can afford myself a bunker. That would be so awesome. Let's see who else. Miss Love is in the house. How you doing? Let me see. Where are we at? Man, look at that. We're like already 25 minutes into this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. Jen, how are you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Good evening, everyone. Been a while. Well, nice to have you. Nice to have you in our live stream today. Dodgy Git, how you doing? R110 top secret document. Read R110 top secret document. It must be unclassified. You know, I haven't seen Evita or JR here. If Evita and JR are here, hello, and show yourselves. Okay, let's see. Okay. Hey, Jupiter's Rum, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. We have Mudfoot Mama all the way from Chico, California. How are you doing? Good to see you. And we have Amanda from the Happy Hippie Homestead. Good to see you, Amanda. Safran Bay, how are you doing? Good to see you. Vision Preparedness is in the house. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you, brother. Nice to see you here. You know what? I didn't even notice that, Angela. This is an Under Armour shirt. Angela says, "Hey P, what is that strategically placed on your shirt? This is an Under Armour shirt." I'll tell you what, you guys like notice everything. It's like sometimes I think that you're like there with a microscope or something, or one of these guys, whatever you call these guys. What are they? All right, like going like, oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, that's funny. Judy, how you doing, Judy? Good to see you. Michael Schmidt, good to see you, my friend. Nice to see you here. Let's see. Let's see, Lori. How you doing, Lori? Oh, Lori, you got the RO system up and running. That's awesome. The RO system is up and running. That is awesome. Good for you. That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, get a reverse osmosis water filtration system. You know what? Let me go ahead and go on a little rant here for a minute. I'm not really going on a rant, but it's going to sound like I'm whining. You know, a lot of people are always saying, AP, you're a fearmonger. AP, you're a gloom and doomer and this and that and all that stuff, right? Great. Okay. I do understand that some people do not want to admit to what reality is. So that's fine. You can call me fearmonger, gloom and doomer, whatever it is. That's fine. But the thing is that whenever I actually talk, first of all of the things that I cover, I don't think is fear mongering. It may be gloomy and doomy, but it's things that I feel we need to know. all right, so that we can be better prepared for these things when they come about. All right, so that covers the gloom and doomy and the fear mongering stuff. But the fact of the matter is that whenever I cover something that I'm like, man, this is something that people really need to know, but it's not something that's gloomy and doomy or something that sounds like, hey, this is actionable intel that you need to do right now, or else something bad will happen, right? Whenever it's not something like that, people just don't want to watch the video. If I just go ahead and put a clean title on a video and say, hey, listen, you really need to get a reverse osmosis system right now, no one will watch that video. Maybe 1,000 people or 2,000 people will watch that video out of 213,000, right? So yeah, that's why some of the thumbnails are a little bit, I guess you can call them entertaining to look at, right? In the titles and stuff, because I want to capture people's attentions. Because when I put up that video about you needing to get a reverse osmosis water filtration system, that's probably, in my opinion, one of the most important things that people should be doing right now is putting that on their number one top priority thing is to get a reverse osmosis water filtration system. You can get one for those of you that don't like them because it takes out everything from the water. You can get ones that put the pH back in the water, or the acidity, or what is the alkaline back in the water. So you can get one that puts the minerals back in the water, but get one, ladies and gentlemen. And as I've stated before, if you don't want to use my link, don't use my link. I don't care, but get one. And the description of my videos, I'm not sure if it's in this one or not, because the live streams are different than the others. But in the description of all of my videos, you'll see that I have 2 links for water filtration. One of them I'm affiliated with, Simpure. No, not made in the USA. The other one I'm not affiliated with, but it's a 100% American-made water filtration system. Click on both links, ladies and gentlemen, and get whichever one you want, because you need a water filtration system in your house before you get anything else. Yes, even before you get a generator, ladies and gentlemen, because you can live a lot longer without electricity than you can without water. So the deal is this: if you go back and revisit that video that I put out, I don't know, about a week ago or so, 94%, right? Listen to this: 94% of all of the tap water in the United States is contaminated with microplastics, i.e., forever chemicals. 94% of tap water, ladies and gentlemen. So no matter how clean you think your tap water is, no matter how clean your utility company tells you that it is, they may think that it is and just not know. But why would you take the chance of consuming water that's really pretty much just a slow poison that's poisoning you slow? Why would you take that chance, ladies and gentlemen, when you can correct that with a reverse osmosis system that can be as inexpensive as $100 or $120? Why would you take that chance? Right? I think I did the math. If you go to a gas station or whatever and get a bottle of water, let's say $3, that's 50 bottles of water. 50 bottles of water, and you can have a reverse osmosis system that will give you clean water for years before you even have to change the filter. And on top of that as well, during that video, I also explained to you all that I think it was 83% of all bottled water tested had microplastics in them. So why would you even buy that $3 bottle of water, right, ladies and gentlemen? Because you think it's clean when it's not clean, number one. You're being overcharged for it, number two. And instead, you can invest on something that's going to give you clean water for the long run. And you know that it's clean because you can test it yourself with a $5 or $10 ppm stick, a particles per million stick, or a total dissolved solids stick, which tells you how many particles per million of total dissolved solids is in that water. Anyways, I'm going to digress. I was going to talk about water today, but I thought that I go ahead and throw that in there because it's very important that everyone gets a reverse osmosis water filtration system. And it has to be reverse osmosis. If you can get something that's equivalent, like a Berkey filter or a zero filter or something like that, and you can actually test your water to see how many ppms are in there, then that's fine. But test your water, ladies and gentlemen, and do not trust any water that you yourself have not tested. Let's see, what else do we have that we need to talk about here? Let's see. Okay, you know what? Before we do that, I need to talk about this. So for those of you, whoa, where is it? It's not showing up. Let's see. I'm trying to show you something here, but it's not showing up. Okay, let me get it out of here. Okay, let me see if I can put it back up, ladies. This is pretty important, so please bear with me. Share screen, screen. Boom. Let's go ahead here. Window. Boom. Boom. There it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that were subscribed or maybe still are subscribed to Frontier Preppers are Billy and D, and that is their channel. However, their channel got demonetized by YouTube, and they spent a few years building that channel up. So they have a new channel here, and it is called, let me see, I still don't remember the name by heart, Conquering the Last Frontier. So if one of our mods can please go ahead and put up the link to Conquering the Last Frontier. If you're subscribed to Frontier Preppers, go and subscribe to this channel, Conquering the Last Frontier, because it is the same as the Frontier Preppers. It's just a brand new one because I guess YouTube didn't like some of the things that they were talking about. And as I've told you all in the past, YouTube, in my opinion, is going to be coming after not only YouTube, but a lot of other social media will be coming after prepper channels. So, in my opinion, the time is clicking. Eventually, prepper channels are going to be shut up, shut down, demonetized, whatever it is, because the closer that we get to the actual collapse, rationing, the food being scarce and things like that, the more that they're going to get strict with what we can talk about. Unfortunately, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why when I told you in the beginning of this presentation that nobody should have a gag order, nobody should be shut up. And in all honesty, do you really want people to not be able to express their feelings, whether they be good or bad? Because wouldn't you want people that have bad feelings, bad thoughts, to express them? That way you can actually know who these bad people are. So if you have a bad person who's not being censored and they're saying bad things, right? You can at least watch out for those people and keep your eyes on them. But if they're going to be censored and they know so and they don't say anything bad, but they are a bad person in the background, when they do something terrible, you're going to be surprised. And why are you going to be surprised? Why? Well, because their First Amendment was restricted. They were censored. They weren't able to say the things they wanted to say. I mean, look at how great it is every time that you see a video of one crazy person being ousted. Oh, look at what this guy said, or look at what this person said. Look at what this teacher is doing to the children, and telling the children and trying to teach the children because they posted it on TikTok or something. Let them post it so that we can see what it is that they're really like, especially behind the scenes. Anyways, I digress. Anyways, go ahead and support Conquering the Last Frontier. It's going to take me a while to memorize their new name. All right. But go ahead and support Conquering the Last Frontier. I can tell you right now, just go ahead and subscribe. Usually I tell you, go and check out their content. If you like it, subscribe. But most of you are probably already subscribed to them as it is. Right? It's just a different name now. So let's go ahead and talk about our next talking point. Let's see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 100. Congratulations to the world. Congratulations to the world. Let's see. 113 million people will be joining the global middle class in 2024. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 2024, around the world, about 113 million people are now going to be leaving the poor, right? The poor class and moving over into the middle class. So I just wanted to say, I think that's a great thing. So congratulations to those people. But the question is how many of those people are Americans that are going to be jumping into the middle class? Well, let's take a look. This chart right here shows that 33 million of that 113 is going to be India. So that's great. They're going to be jumping from being poor to being in the middle class, being in the consumer class is what they call it, I believe. Yes, the global consumer class. Let's see, 31 million is going to be China. Okay. We have 5 million Indonesia, 5 million from Bangladesh, 4 million from Vietnam, 2 million from Egypt, 1 million from Nigeria, I believe, 1 million from Brazil. I don't see the United States on there. Well, maybe the United States is in this other. Maybe the United States is in the other because I don't see the actual name of the United States on there. So maybe it's in the other part. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here's the United States. Share of adults in U.S. middle class. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm being a little sarcastic here, but it's for good reason. It's because it's a shame. So, as the world is increasing in middle class, the United States, at least through 2021, and I believe it to be even worse now in 2023, has been decreasing in middle class. So you can see here, as the world is gaining middle class status, we here in the United States in 2021 only have 50% in the middle class, whereas 50 years ago we had 61%, which is a huge number, ladies and gentlemen. And our upper class, although our upper class increased by 21%, our lower class or lower income also increased. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we are going to be equal to a lot of other places around the world, a lot of other countries, because that's what they want. You know, that equity and equality. Someone told me once that there's no such thing as equality and equity, right? Because equity is like what you own. Like, how much equity do you have in your house? Okay, so my house is worth $300,000, but I only owe $100,000 on it. I have $200,000 worth of equity, right? So what the powers that be want to do is they want to make the world's countries equal. So in order for us to have equity, equal equity, right? The United States and the other Western nations, we have to go down in the standard of living at the same time that other countries are going up in the standard of living. So as we're going down in our standard of living, other countries are going up. And we see that happening right now, that our standard of living here is decreasing, while other countries that are poorer countries, their standard of living is increasing. And that's what's been happening. I believe, I can't prove this, but just taking a look at it and using common sense, I believe that that was one of the plans all along, back in 1993 or 94, whatever year it was, that they decided to do NAFTA. And then in 1999, when they decided to allow China to enter into the world, what do you call it, where they can freely trade around the world, right? When they allowed China to do that, I believe that that was probably part of the plan all the way back then. And for those people that don't think that our rulers, right, that our rulers plan these things decades ahead of time, they do, ladies and gentlemen. They plan these things ahead of time. Nothing happens by coincidence, especially when it has to do with government. Glock Coma, how you doing? Good to see you. Miss Red, how are you? Amazing Grandma, how are you doing? Good to see you. Okay, here we go. This is Frontier Prepper's new channel. Okay, so that's the new channel right here, Conquering the Last Frontier. So go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Hopefully you guys can find that in the chats and click on it. Emmanuel Bravo, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, SR, how are you, man? Good to see you, SR. Lena, how are you? Yes, Lena, you're right. Lena says reality is doom and gloom, unfortunately, right? But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you got to stop every once in a while and, try to smell the roses every once in a while, because it is worth to take a little break every once in a while. You've probably noticed, but I stopped doing anything that has to do with YouTube on Saturdays. So on Saturdays, if you see me put up a video on Saturday, it's because I already had it done on Friday. So on Saturdays, I do absolutely nothing that has to do with YouTube. I don't even come back to the bunker. All right. So I'm trying to learn. All right. I'm trying to learn how to smell the roses just a little bit. Not very good at it yet, but trying to learn. Oh, that's awesome, Gail. I've had one for years. And you know what? That is, Gail, I'll talk to you personally, Gail. You've had one for years. I'm sure that whenever you hear about one of these things, that there's something wrong with the water, you don't worry about it, because you already know that the water that you're drinking is good water. So, I mean, it really gives you peace of mind knowing that the water you're drinking is good. Can you just imagine what the people from Palestine, Ohio are still going through? The people that are still living there now, that still don't have a reverse osmosis water filtration system because their local and state government is telling them, hey, go ahead and drink the water. There's nothing wrong with it. Can you just imagine that? And can you imagine how many of them could literally just go ahead and grab an RO system, like I said, for as little as about $100, that will actually give them peace of mind, knowing that they're feeding or giving their children water that's really clean, instead of wondering if they're being lied to or not. That in itself is worth the $100 or whatever it is that they charge. Same thing with you, Carrie. All right, same thing. I mentioned this before. There is no excuse. Even if you have a well, get an RO system. Do not pray that it's okay. Know for a fact that it is okay, because it is very easy to test it. Very easy. I'm not talking about thousands of dollars here. I'm not even talking about hundreds of dollars. And like I said, don't use my link if you don't want to. It's so important that everyone, whether you have a well or city water, gets an RO system, right? And of course, this is all my opinion. I'm not telling you what to do. But ladies and gentlemen, I mean, just use your common sense. What if something with this, and I'm not beating up on you, Carrie, all right? I've said this on several other videos. What if there's something wrong that seeps into your well water and you don't know about it? And you're just drinking that water. How do you know that that water is good? Do you have it tested on a monthly basis, with your local utility or service company that tests it? And if you do have it tested, what happens when something happens to the water halfway through the month and you don't know about it until you have it tested, at the end of the month or whenever you have it tested? You just don't know. Why in the world would you not ensure that you have good drinking water by just putting in such a simple system? And you don't even have to put in a hardwired system, I call it, or a hard plumbed system, the under the sink. You can get a countertop system where all you do is just add water to it and it cleans the water for you. I mean, get something, even if, like I said, even if you just want to get a Berkey, which is just a gravity fed system, which is a great system in my opinion. I think the Berkey is a great system. It has stood the test of time. Whatever that thing that was going on a while back with the lawsuits or whatever, that's fine. All I know is that it stood the test of time. People have been using it for years. I've never once heard of one person having a problem with their Berkey. Never once. Except for that one video that I saw where someone says that, well, they're not rated for so many gallons or whatever. But I still have never heard of someone saying they had a problem with them. But it doesn't have to be a Berkey. It doesn't have to be a Simpure. It doesn't have to be a zero water. It can be whatever it is that you want it to be, but just test it to make sure that you're drinking good water. It's just really common sense. That's all it is. Yarn prepper, I'm going to have to talk to you because that is not a reason. You can get an RO system, all right? Don't use that as an excuse. My kitchen is really, really small. I have let me see if I can remember the dimensions. My kitchen is like 10 feet long. So my kitchen is actually about the same length as this bunker. Like from where I'm sitting right here, from the wall in front of me, which is about 2 feet in front of me, to that back wall back there. That's about how long my kitchen is. And it's only about 6 feet wide. That's how big my kitchen is. I have an RO system in there. All right. I have it under the sink. So get yourself an RO system and put it in. Let's see. I'm bringing it down a little bit. JT says, I can't afford plastic surgery, so I'll just drink the bottled water. Well, I'm not sure if you're going to have the same outcome with that, JT. Wow, you know what? That is, let me see, Hammerology. First of all, hello and nice to see you here. I never really thought about that. Most of the microplastics in the Earth's water come from tire wear. And that means it will always be contaminated. That makes perfect sense because obviously we have, I think it's 1.6 billion cars on the road, I believe worldwide. So that puts us at about, I don't know, 6 to 7 billion tires on the road worldwide. And of course, whenever they wear out, they don't wear out in chunks. They wear out in pretty much like fine dust. So that makes a lot of sense. If I was president, ladies and gentlemen, if I was president if you would elect me your president, I would go ahead and instead of printing money to send it overseas, I would go ahead and say, I am passing a law. Everyone in America, every family in America has to have a reverse osmosis water filtration system, and it will be tax deductible, whatever. No, it wouldn't be tax deductible because if I was president, there wouldn't be any taxes. But I would say you have to have it, and you have to pay for it because you're not paying taxes. All right. So, anyways, that's how important that I think it is. I would actually use the gavel and say, you're going to get an RO system. You know what I was talking to? I forgot who I was talking to about this, about the Second Amendment. I read a book a long time ago. It's a great book. It's called, I believe it's called Come and Take It, Molan. Do you know how to say come and take it? I forgot how you say that. Molan Labe or something like that. But that's the name of the book. Come and Take It. It's a great book, and on that book, there's a chapter where, and I forgot a lot about it, ladies and gentlemen, but there's this governor who gets elected, and he's a pro Second Amendment governor, and he made it to where the state that he was governor of, he went ahead and imposed a sales tax. So anything that you purchase, any consumer item that you purchased, you had to pay a sales tax. I forgot how much it was, but let's say it was 10%. However, he created a loophole in that sales tax where if you went ahead and open carry, you didn't have to pay any sales tax. So most of the people in the state would open carry just to save on the sales tax. And those people that did not open carry had to pay the sales tax. And those people that did not agree with the Second Amendment that lived in that state, Molan Labe, right? Those people that didn't agree with the Second Amendment that lived in that state, they left. So I think that's a pretty awesome law to pass. All right. I see a lot of people here making excuses as to why they shouldn't get a reverse osmosis. Ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you, obviously. I can't make you get one, okay? Oh, goodness. Linda Bob, how are you doing? Good to see you. Poppy is doing really good, Emmanuel. Emmanuel asked, how is Poppy and the ladies doing? I am now to the point. I am happy to report, ladies and gentlemen, we are now to the point in my household where I don't think we have to buy eggs anymore. I don't think we have to buy any more eggs from the store. We are averaging between 3 to 6 eggs a day right now. Okay. And we don't eat eggs every single day, but we probably go through about a couple dozen eggs a week. We probably go through. And right now we're averaging about 3 eggs to 6 eggs every day. So we're getting enough eggs now, I believe. And it's winter time, all right, to get through. So that's great news. Great news. And the funny thing is that the chickens, they weren't supposed to be laying until next month, November, and they started a little bit early. But the eggs are still pretty small. It probably takes about 2 eggs to make 1 extra large egg, like if you bought at the store. But still, we're getting the eggs, and they're good eggs. And the chickens, they're really happy. I ended up purchasing one of the radiant heaters for inside of the chicken coop, and it works great. I put it on medium, and it keeps the chicken coop, even at nighttime when it's like, in the nighttime here, it's been averaging around the teens. So like, I think last night was like 11, all right? And then the night before was like 14. But even at 11 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight, their coop stays at about 33, 34 degrees, keeping it on medium. And that radiant heater has a max of 180 watts. So it doesn't even use that much electricity. And I have it on medium, so it's probably only using about 120, 140 watts or so. And it still keeps their coop very comfortable. 30 degrees, 35 degrees is very comfortable for the chickens. They really enjoy that temperature, and they're not too hot. I think that if it got hotter than that in there, they wouldn't like it. So yeah, it's working out good. They're doing really, really good. And they're still happy. They get a whole bunch of treats. We're always giving them treats. Let's see. Trouble Bear says, have a backup channel and set up on Brighteon. Yes, absolutely. Brighteon is good. It's good. It's run by the Health Ranger, Mike Adams. He's a really good guy. I actually have a Rumble account, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to check me out on Rumble, or at least go over there and subscribe to my, or follow me on Rumble, that way if something does happen here, I'm over there. I've got my videos that go over there. I think it takes like 2 or 3 days for a video to make it over there once it's published here on YouTube. But yeah, go check me out on Rumble and follow me over there in case something happens here. And Rumble has come a long way since it first started. It's not 100% yet, but it's really good. It's really good, and there's really no censorship or anything like that over there. Maybe one day I'll try to figure out how we can do a live stream here and at Rumble the same time. I'm just not that technically advanced yet. So let's see. Diane Steck, how are you? AP, I got a bottle of water today, and it has a statement on it that says purified by reverse osmosis. I've seen that before, and that's good. I've tested a few like gallon jugs of water that were supposed to be pure water, and those tested perfect. They tested at 0 ppm. But it wasn't me that tested the bottles of water that I was talking about before. I forgot the name of the institution that tested them, but they found that it was like 83% of those bottled waters actually have microplastics in them. But I have tested some myself where I found them at 0, like they should be, and I tested some where they had a high ppm as well. So pretty much you're just rolling the dice, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you do that kind of stuff. But then again, nowadays, we pretty much roll the dice with everything we do. Even if you buy organic, do you really know that it's 100% organic? Unless you're the one that grew it, unless you had your hands on it. We roll the dice with everything. Oh, let me see. Someone here has a good question. Mudfoot Mama asked, define the new middle class. Well, I think that what I was talking about, the 113 million people that are entering into the middle class, I think that what they mean by that are people that are now consumers of things that they don't have to have. So pretty much the poor class is kind of like defined by people that are just keeping their heads above water. That if they make X number of dollars, that they have to spend that X number of dollars for things that they need to live, instead of being able to have a little bit of a cushion after they spend everything that they need to live. They can maybe go out and buy a TV or go to the movies or go get a pizza. No, the poor class, if they're just keeping their head above water, is because they're being able to survive on what they make, but no more. And the middle class, what I believe they mean by is that now you're able to survive, but you can maybe have a little bit of breathing room where if you want to buy some Christmas presents, and whatever country it is, whatever it is that you do in your country, but if you want to buy some Christmas presents, you're like, hey, yeah, I can budget away a few dollars for Christmas, or hey, yeah, we can go on vacation next year, we can do this. I think that's what they mean about the consumer class, is buying consumer items that you don't necessarily have to survive. That's actually a really good question. I wouldn't have thought of asking that question. Thank you. No, Ark Wildman Survival. How you doing? Good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you all for being here today on this Friday. It's always a great time chit-chatting back and forth with you all. So I do appreciate you being here. Who's your pioneer? Who's your pioneer? AP, how do you feel about eminent domain? I don't like it. Why? Because your property should be your property. And if the government wants to buy your property from you, right, they ought to let you set the price. And then they can decide whether or not they want to meet that price. All right. So, but it should be 100% up to you if you sell that property or not. I mean, that's what property rights are, ladies and gentlemen. I do understand that, in order for society to advance and all this and all that and all that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't agree with that. I mean, I'm all about freedom. I like freedom, and if the government wants to build a road across your house, then they ought to be able to pay for your house what you want for it because it's your house. I'm sure that someone can make a very good argument for eminent domain, but I just can't. I just can't tell myself that, yeah, I agree with the government telling you that you have to give up what you work for and sacrifice for at a price that they set. I just can't see that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this right here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to go ahead and show you some numbers that ought to really scare you. These numbers ought to scare you. All right. And we'll get into the years 2024 and 2025 here in a second. But if you take a look at the third line down that says 2023, it's not highlighted. That right there is showing what our federal debt is right now, our national debt, which is about $33 trillion. This is a little bit backdated, saying 33.2 trillion. Right now it's about 33.6.7 trillion, but you'll get the gist of it either way. All right, so $33.2 trillion is our national debt. Of that, ladies and gentlemen, our interest payment is going to be $900 billion. Just shy of $1 trillion will be our interest payment. And that is at an interest rate of 2.75%. Because the money that we're paying in interest right now for debt that's rolling over is debt that we took out years ago at a lower rate of 2.75%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, which means that this year, 2023, the federal government is going to be getting about 4.4 or so trillion dollars in tax revenue, but they're going to be spending 6.1 trillion, giving us a deficit of about 1.7 trillion dollars. So this year, 2023, we will have a deficit of just shy of $2 trillion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be paying just shy of $900 billion just in interest. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring it forward to 2024. 2024, our national debt, which the national debt doesn't really matter except for the amount of interest that we're going to pay on it. National debt is forecasted to be in 2024 $35.3 trillion. That is more than $2 trillion what it is now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and the interest on the national debt come 2024 is going to be $1.28 trillion. It will surpass what we pay for defense spending, ladies and gentlemen. Right? And that's only going to be at an average interest rate of 3.74%. So it's looking like in 2024 we're going to have a deficit of a little over $2 trillion. $2.2 trillion deficit, just about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, why does this matter? The reason this matters is because the higher the deficit, the higher the national debt. The higher the national debt, the higher the interest payment, because interest rates are not going to be going down anytime soon. This inflation thing that they told you was transitory, well, ladies and gentlemen, how long have I been telling you? Probably ever since I've been on this channel, that they lied to you all the time. No such thing as transitory inflation. Maybe the rate of inflation was transitory, but inflation has never gone anywhere, and it will not go anywhere anytime soon. The only time that inflation will end is when the system ends, because the system cannot continue without it. Understand that, ladies and gentlemen. The system by which we are governed, the financial system that is, cannot exist without inflation. So inflation will never end. What does that mean to you? It means that as long as you are on this earth, the government will be taking money from you in a tax called inflation. Yes, inflation is a tax that most people don't know about. Why? Because it's not something that you pay out of your paycheck. It's just something that you pay whenever you buy something that costs more today than what it did yesterday, because your dollars are worth less. Those of you that are not very well versed in how the monetary system works, go ahead and take a look at a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffith. It is kind of a dry read, right? And it's a little bit of a long book. But ladies and gentlemen, once you read that, you will understand why it is that you, the working person, the wage earner, the salary earner, will never, ever be out from debt. Why? Because everything that you own, everything that you earn, everything that you earn as far as cash goes, like fiat currency, it itself is debt. You will never be out of debt. Why? Because you're working for debt. So make sure, read that book, ladies and gentlemen. It's on Amazon and it's not that expensive. It's probably less than 20 bucks now. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at 2025. 2025 is only a couple of years away. But in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, they're projecting that our national debt is going to be $37.8 trillion. All All right. So they're saying that they're going to put on an additional $2.5 trillion on top of 2024. Okay. And the interest on that debt will then be $1.6 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. We are going to be collecting 4.9 trillion in taxes, but we're going to be spending as a government 7.4 trillion. And do you think that this system is going to last too much longer? Do you really think that those numbers are going to allow this financial system to last that much longer, ladies and gentlemen? Why is it that you think that they want to push us into a CBDC, a centrally banked digital currency, so badly? Because when they do that, they get to control our labor 100%. They'll be able to control how much our labor is worth 100%. They'll be able to do negative interest, which means that they'll be able to tell you you're going to spend your money now or you're going to lose it. You won't be able to save past so much money. They'll be able to control everything, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they need to put us into a CBDC. I have a lot of hope. I've seen some states say we're not doing a CBDC. And I've seen some representatives in Congress saying we're not going to be doing a CBDC. We're going to go ahead and write a bill to try to block CBDCs from happening. So I have a lot of hope that hopefully that will, deter, whatever it is that it takes for us to get into a CBDC. So hopefully we won't get into one. But either way, you need to protect yourselves. All right. Protect yourselves because the dollars that you have today, they're not going to be the same dollars a year from now than what they are today. And the numbers that I just showed you, they ought to tell you that 100%. If you look at this chart, and if you look at this chart right here, where is it? If you look at this chart, ladies and gentlemen, this chart alone ought to tell you that the dollars that you have today will not be the same dollars by definition a year from now than what they are now. Meaning what? That a year from now, they're going to buy you a lot less than what they buy you now. Why? Look at how much money we're borrowing. We have to borrow. If you take a look at our outlays and subtract the actual federal revenue from our outlays, which is our spending, it tells you right there that they're going to have to print that much more money or borrow that much more money so that they can throw it back out into the economy, which is inflationary. Well, borrowing it is not really inflationary, but printing it is. So that will be inflationary. So protect yourselves however you want. I like to buy gold and silver, especially silver more than anything else. Let's see. That's a pretty weird number right there. But 66.6 thousand Venezuelans crossed the southern U.S. border last month, ladies and gentlemen. Just last month. I think I might have misspoke earlier. I think I said 66 million in the last year. But no, 66,000.6 in 1 month, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what you have to ask yourself is this. Whenever you hear one of these government pundits saying, well, we have to take in these refugees because they're looking for safety. Great. How many countries are between Venezuela and the United States of America? If they felt that unsafe in their country, that they had to flee their country to a safer country, was there not a country that was safer than theirs between their country and this country here? I would venture to say yes, but I could be wrong. Nonetheless, out of these 66.6 thousand that came across the border, who knows, ladies and gentlemen, it only takes one to come through that wants to carry out really bad acts. You just don't know. And I think that might be the last thing that I had to talk about. Oh, no, this is it right here. Well, yeah, here it goes. I covered this during today's video, but I'll go ahead and cover it here just a little bit. So what you're looking at is at the bottom right-hand corner of the web page where the U.S. national debt clock is. Many people don't look at this, and I haven't heard anyone talking about this. But if you go take a look at the video that I put up this morning, I show it from 11 days ago, and I go over it and everything. 11 days ago, the total U.S. unfunded liability, ladies and gentlemen. So if you see that one that's circled there in the bottom, the total 11 days ago was $194.6 trillion. That's on top of our national debt. 11 days ago, we had $194.6 trillion in unfunded liabilities. And today, Go look at it for yourselves if you like. We're sitting at 211 trillion. So in a span of about 11 days, or let's say 2 weeks, we went from 194 to 211 trillion. Where in the world did that come from? I'll leave that up to you to decide how it is that we added that much to our unfunded liability. In my opinion, unfunded liabilities are payments that we have to make directly to fund those programs that the government has pretty much stolen the money from. So, for example, Social Security at one point, Social Security was fully funded. But the government went in there and they pretty much hijacked the Social Security Trust, took the money out, gave themselves a surplus for that year, and said, hey, look, we have a surplus for this year. When in fact, they just took that money from the Social Security Trust and now it's a Ponzi scheme. So unfunded liabilities are things like that we have promised to our citizens, or that our government promised our citizens in the US, and that we, the citizens themselves, have to actually pay into in order to fulfill that promise. So those are payments that we have to make. For example, Social Security, I believe, is a protected payment, meaning that if the government shuts down or for whatever reason, the Social Security payments have to be made. They're a protected payment. They can't stop them. As long as we're collecting enough taxes to pay Social Security, we will be making those Social Security payments. That's why every time that there's going to be a government shutdown, they try to scare Social Security recipients into thinking that their Social Security payments are going to stop. They're not going to stop. They can't. Unless we don't collect enough taxes, they'll stop. But they can't. And we always collect enough taxes to at least take care of our mandatory payouts that we have as a government. So it's just a scare tactic that they use. But ladies and gentlemen, that $210 trillion, that's money that your children will be paying for the rest of their lives, and their children's children's, and their children's children's, as long as this financial system is what it is today. They'll be paying that for the rest of their lives. That's nothing compared to the measly 33 or 34 trillion dollars that we have in national debt, of which we're paying a trillion and a half a year in interest. You take Social Security, you take Medicare, you take all of the government pensions and all that kind of stuff, and you put them together. That's more than half of what we take in before defense, before interest payments, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to be looking at as far as those unfunded liabilities. I think that that's going to crush our system faster than that of what our interest debt payments is going to crush our system. But either or, ladies and gentlemen, it's a tactic that they've used for the last 50, 60 years called the Cloward and Piven strategy, and it's worked very well. They've done a very good job at overwhelming our systems to a point where it will collapse, because there's nothing that we can do in order for it to be saved, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that's going to save our way of life is those people that are patriots, that love this country, that are prepared, that are going to be willing to start over during the new paradigm. A lot of people, in my opinion, and I hope that I'm 100% wrong, a lot of people, when we have a financial crash like the one we're going to have, a lot of people will perish. Because as I stated earlier on today's morning video, it's going to be what's called a resource problem. We are going to have a problem with resources, because the money's going to become worthless, and people do not work for free. Look at how many people now don't want to work. How many people do you know are screaming nowadays for 15 bucks an hour? I don't see anybody marching the streets for $15 an hour anymore. Do any of you see that happening? I don't. Why? Because 15 bucks an hour is nothing nowadays. You can't even get a job at McDonald's for 15 bucks an hour. I think here they start at 16 or 17 bucks an hour, because 15 bucks an hour ain't nothing. It has nothing to do with what you're being paid. What it has to do with is with the value of those dollars that you're being paid with. They're not worth what they were worth 2 or 3 years ago, because of the malfeasance of the government allowing the Federal Reserve to print in order to pacify the voting class that wants to get something for nothing. Having said that, we're going to go ahead and take it to Q&A, or just do a little bit of chit-chatting back and forth for a few minutes. All right, so let me first say thank you very much to Maggie. Thank you very much, Maggie, for the super sticker. I do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, ladies and gentlemen, put them in all caps. And like I said, we'll spend the next few minutes just going back and forth and chit-chatting with you. How are you doing, Tinkerman? Good to see you. Uh, Busy girl, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Let's see. Mimi says, yes, East Palestine is suffering. I live downriver along the Ohio River. I have a Berkey and got it soon after our Ohio River was contaminated. That's good. Good for you. Good for you. Let me see. A Hobbit asks, are RO systems hard to install? When I install mine, I've never installed one before. I just looked at the instructions and it took me about an hour to do it by myself with no help. Now, if you do take a look at my link on Simpure, they actually have a short video that takes you step by step on how to install it. And even if you don't use Simpure, even if you don't buy a Simpure, I would say that 99% of reverse osmosis water filtration systems that have the tank, they're all pretty much the same installation process. So if you do buy one that doesn't have good instructions or a video that you can follow, you can still go to the Simpure site and look at their video. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty much the exact same installation process. Because, like I said before, an RO system is very simple. It is a very basic, I would even call it archaic system, meaning that it's been around for such a long time that it's not considered to be of the quality of the new systems they have now, like the countertop systems or the tankless systems. But in all honesty, I prefer the systems that have the tank on them more than the other ones because they're so simple. They're so very simple and they're very inexpensive compared to the newer systems that they have now. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see. Let's bring it on down. Oh, but yarn prepper. Yeah, I see yarn prepper. I remember you saying that your kitchen was too small, but you got a Berkey. So you have a Berkey. So there you go. You're good to go. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it does not have to be an RO system. That's just what I recommend. But like I said, people have been using Berkeys for years and years. And like I said before, I never really heard anything bad about a Berkey from anyone that's actually had one for a while and used it. I've never heard anything bad. They're a little bit expensive as far as the filters go and stuff like that. But hey, whatever you use something that's going to make sure give you peace of mind that that water that you're drinking is going to be clean. You know, that's the most important thing. Oh, really? Am I coming in blurry? I can't believe that I'm coming in blurry. I've got such good coverage today. All right, let me see. That's the name of the book, Molan Labe. Come and take it. If you want to read a great book that's very entertaining, read that book. It is such a good book. I just found it the other day. I read that book years ago and I found it the other day. I got it up on my shelf up there. Maybe next time we do a live, I'll bring it down and show it to you. It's such a great book. Let's see. Okay, okay. Bring it on down some. Let me see. How far behind am I? Oh, I am pretty far behind, really. Okay, I'm gonna bring it on down, ladies and gentlemen. That way okay. Okay, someone's saying that I'm coming in clear. Okay, great. Hey, how you doing, Dale? Good to see you, my friend. A nurse for you. How are you? Good to see you. Let me see. April Thacker. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome April to our live stream. This is her first time. Awesome. Well, good to see you. Let me see. I'm laid off. I can't afford a solar gas generator. I have plenty of food prepared though. Well, good. You need food, and man, I'm not gonna go on a on one of those rants where I say, hey, listen, you can do it. Go get a side hustle. No, I am gonna go on it. I am gonna go on it. It's not really a rant, but I'm gonna do it. April, you're laid off. You can't afford it. Go do something. Get an Uber app if you have a car. Get a Dash app if you have a car and do Dash. You can do something. Find out what's your kung fu. What is something that you like to do that you're good at that you can make a side hustle, a small income. There's always something that you can do. And I know a lot of people always say, well, that's easy for you to say, AP. It's easy for you to say. You get to make YouTube videos and make money doing it. Well, yeah, it is easy for me to say. Not really that easy, ladies and gentlemen. You know, ask JT. JT is one of my pre 50. JT, were you like number 30, my 30th subscriber? JT, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my oldest, if not oldest, community members here, as far as how long she's been with us, not in age. So yeah, find your kung fu, ladies and gentlemen, and you never know. You may just turn that hobby that you love to do. I love to talk and I love to prep. I turned that hobby into something that makes me an income for myself and my family, and you know, and a lot of other people benefit from it. You know, we have a great community here, and I would like to think that people here benefit from it. You know, we get to help some people out every now and then. The community where I live gets to help out, and that all came about because I started doing something out of the love of doing it. You know, talking with people and preparedness. You know, and that came about that. And it takes a lot of time, but if you never start, it's never going to flourish into anything meaningful. So start it. You know, start it without any expectations and see where it takes you. Okay, I'm coming in clear. Oh, let me see. Trouble Bear Stare says, do you think the Berkey ceramic filters are better than the carbon filters? I don't have a Berkey. I do have the guts, and I made my own with plastic buckets. All right, but the ones that I have are the black ones. And I do believe that the white ceramic ones are the ones that are made for fluoride. So just check them out, Troubled Bear Stetter. Get on their site and see exactly what each of their different types of filters are for. I just have the black filters because they don't use any fluoride where I live. So the water that we get here, our utility water, it doesn't have any fluoride in it. So I never gotten the ceramic filters. Emmanuel, no, I'm not going to do a reading video. Actually, you know what? That would be a great book for you to read on your channel, Copernicus. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Miss Worm has a channel where she reads stories. I would love, Copernicus, if you read that book on your channel. And you can just do like part one through part whatever, like do one chapter at a time and just name it each different parts. It's a great book. I don't know if you can do that or not on YouTube. I think you can. Like read a book that you purchased that someone else wrote and you purchased it and read it on your channel. I think you can do that, but I mean just check it out and see if you can. Because that's an awesome book. I would definitely listen to it. I should get that book on audiobook. I'm going to see if they have it on audiobook. Michigan Lifestyle, how you doing? Blessings to you as well. Let me see. Nightman's wife asks, "What are your thoughts on herbal medicines?" I don't really have many thoughts on them because I'm not very knowledgeable on herbal medicines. Nightman's wife, but from what I understand, they're very effective. Right. So if you're very well versed on those, you can find, you know, you can scavenge or forage for herbs or grow your own that are effective. Like, for example, I know that if you have a bad toothache, you can actually use some cloves, right, and bite down on them, or get some of the oil from cloves, and that like helps with the pain in your mouth. So things like that. I think that the better versed you are in those things, the better overall, and that could be your kung fu. If that's your kung fu, meaning that that's something you're very knowledgeable at, then you should definitely expand on that, because I think that would bring you a lot of value. That would be a very valuable skill to have during a time where maybe medical services are not as abundant as they are now, per se. So yeah, I think that's a great thing to be knowledgeable with. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, no, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how are you? It's good to see you. They have lots of different brands of solar generators on Amazon on sale. I got a 600 watt with one panel for under $500. Man, I don't know why you didn't go and check out the Opus, because you can get the Opus right now with one panel for like $350. But anyways, it doesn't matter as long as you got something that you're happy with. That's what matters. But ladies and gentlemen, do not get a solar generator from Opus right now if you are thinking about getting one. because they're going to do another sale here. I believe it's next month sometime. Well, Black Friday is going to be a great sale, but they also have another sale, and they have a new Opus coming out next month, which should be in the mail right now on its way to me, that I'll be reviewing. All right, it's going to be called the Opus, and I haven't told anyone about this, and hopefully I won't get in trouble by Opus, but it's going to be called the Mega 2. Right, so I reviewed the Mega 5, the big dog. I reviewed the Mega 3, which is a really big dog, also not as big as the Mega 5, but I'm going to be also reviewing the Mega 2. And this one, I have to say, from looking at it, I really like it. And man, I hate saying this before I review something, but just from looking at the specs and seeing how it looks and everything, no, I can't share any pictures with you. Seeing how it looks and everything, I think it may end up being my favorite Opus. Because you all know that out of all of the Opus that I reviewed, I told you all that my favorite is this one right here, the 2400. Many people would think, well, that my favorite would be the Mega 5 or the Mega 3 because, they have external batteries and you can get a lot of wattage out of them or watt hours out of them. But really, my favorite so far is the 2400 because it's so versatile and because it's so good of a price. You get such good big bang for your buck with the 2400. That one's my favorite, but the Mega 2 that I'm going to be reviewing next month, that one to me may be my favorite. So just hang tight if you're in the market for a solar generator, because Opus is going to be doing another sale here coming next month, and I have a feeling it's going to be a really good sale. I don't know what all of the final prices are going to be, and I know it's going to be a really good sale because I think that they're only going to allow me like a 5% off coupon. I'm going to fight for that 10% though, because I think I deserve, and you guys deserve that 10%. Those of you that want to get it that are in the AP community, because the AP community has really supported Opus over the years, and they've done really good supporting AP community members too. For those of you that don't know about Opus, go check out their website at least. The link for them is in the description of all of my videos. But for those of you that don't know about them, they keep aside 5% of every purchase. So every purchase that they have, they keep 5% of that money and they put it aside to a program that's called Opus Helps, right? Opus Helps. And what they do is people that need financial help or maybe need a solar generator for a medical device or something, they fill out an application and say, hey, this is why I need it. I need your help. I don't have this, whatever it is. And then they put it through a screening process, and then they either approve or don't approve you. And so far, I think that 5 people from the AP community have been helped via Opus Helps. So Opus is a good brand. I like brands, ladies and gentlemen, that actually take care of their community, that they take care of the community that takes care of them. So if you are taking a look for a solar generator, wait a little bit so that you can see what they got coming up. And I actually also did a review video. I haven't finished it. It's not a review video. It's an experiment where I was checking out the efficiency of all of the Opus generators, solar generators. And I'll tell you what, I got some awesome information on that as well. Hey, Ma, how are you, Ma? Good to see you. I have not seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Gracious 48 asks, AP, as a dad, tell my boys to install the RO system I got. Put it right up on yours. There you go. Listen, gentlemen, your mom is asking you to install the RO system that she got. Please install that, because that way you yourselves can know that your mother is getting water that is safe to drink. And it doesn't take a lot of time to install that system. It really doesn't. If you ended up getting a SimPure, Gracious 48, go to the site, the SimPure site, the link, and you can actually see, if you click on the RO system that you got, they will actually show you a video step by step on how to install it. So gentlemen, please install that system for your mother. Thanks for letting me know, Gracious. And let me know if they went ahead and did that. If I have to bribe them with a silver coin or something, let me know. If I need to send them a silver coin so that they can install that system for you, I'll be happy to do it. You just let me know. I'm being serious about that too. Michigan Lifestyle, good to see you. What do you think about sleeper cells? I think that there are sleeper cells in the United States. There's no getting around it. All right, with the way that the borders are, I think I talked about this a couple of videos ago. I did a video saying something like they are here or something like that. There are sleeper cells here. I mean, there's no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen, because all you have to do is ask yourself this. If you were a country that hated this country, if you're a country in the Middle East or something that hates this country and sees how porous our borders are, what would you do? What would you do? Would you send people here to get through the border and to hide out somewhere, somewhere in one of the flyover states, just to hide out until they get that call to go do whatever it is, this or that? The one saving grace, well, it's not a saving grace, but the one thing that I think, ladies and gentlemen, is that whatever sleeper cells there are here in the United States, I really don't think that they're going to carry out. Well, it can go either way. They can carry out violence in order to terrorize the people. Right? But what I think they would be more effectively used for, is to sabotage infrastructure. Electrical grid, bridges, water supply, things like that. They would cause a lot more damage. The food supply, they would cause a lot more damage if they did that than if they went out on terror campaigns, hurting people and with firearms and stuff like that. So that's why I say get a reverse osmosis water filtration system. You will not be sorry that you got one. And if you do decide to use my link, all right, I'm not trying to sell it, all right, because I always get people triggered that, but make sure that you use my code. I have a 20% off code, all right, that you can use. And if you want to buy one that's 100% American made, I left you a link for that as well. You can buy the one that's 100% American made, ladies and gentlemen, right? It's just up to you whether you want to spend the money or not. But if you want to, by all means, I encourage it. But the thing is, I know that most people can't afford the extra 400, 500 bucks, but it is what it is. Okay. Okay. Bringing in. What time is it? All right, man. We're already about an hour and a half in. Let's see. We're going to have to finish it up here in a little bit. Let me see. Briar Patch. How long is the wait? I don't know, Briar. I mean, if you order one, you should be able to get one shipped to you pretty quickly. I think that they have a warehouse in Florida, and I think that they have a warehouse in Florida or Georgia. It might be Georgia, in the East Coast. And I think they have a warehouse in Washington State. So wherever you're at, whatever state, it shouldn't take but a week or so for it to get to you. And I do believe that they use FedEx to ship them, or UPS. I'm not sure. Alrighty. Michael, how you doing, my friend? Let's see. Opes gave us a 1800 power station. Hey, so you're one of our awesome community members that received one. That's awesome, man. That's great, man. I love to hear those stories, man. Especially if it's someone from here in the U.S. in our community. Let's see. The Pecron generator I have is better value than the Opus. Check, man. I wish that I can review all these other generators, solar generators. But the thing is Opus is one of the very few that has been able to ship anything up here to Alaska, and they pay a pretty penny. I've heard about this Pecron, but I've never been able to put my hands on it. So, hey, if that's the one that you like, again, a solar generator, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I recommend first and foremost that before you even get a solar generator, that you get a gasoline or LP generator, meaning a generator that has an internal combustion engine. I recommend that you get that first and foremost before you get a solar generator. I believe that a solar generator is great. It's a great complement to a gas generator, but a gas generator, you can control how much fuel you put away for it. You can control how much fuel you put away for a gas generator, but you cannot control whether the sun is going to be out or not. If you're running a solar generator and powering it with solar panels, that you can't control, right? You may be lucky and live in a state where you get or in an area where you get a lot of sunlight. But what if we have a volcanic eruption or something like that across the world, and it blurs out the sun, and we have a year without a summer like happened back, I forgot when it happened, right? Anything can happen. So you don't have control over how much sunlight you're going to be able to have to power your solar generator. So get a gas generator first. All right. A solar generator, in my opinion, is a great complement to a gas generator. It actually ends up saving you gas if you're using a gas generator to power your solar generator whenever there's no sun out enough to power it with solar panels. I think it's a great complement. But yeah, get whatever it is that you are going to be comfortable with. Get whatever it is, the best that you can afford. Whatever it is, get it. But get it. I would rather get stuff than to leave my money sitting in the bank. Redneck Prepper, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Lisa, how are you? Lisa has a question. Need your opinion. For me to be debt free, I have to sell my coins. Should I sell or just pay debt slowly? Man, that is a great question. I'm not a financial advisor. I know this is only my opinion, and I have to say that, Lisa, or Leah, because I am on the internet. That's a great question. I guess it depends on how much debt you have. If I had, let's say, for example, I'm just going to make this up. Let's say that I had $100,000 in debt, and I had $100,000 worth of silver, right? What do? Do I continue to pay down on that debt, or do I sell my silver and pay that debt off? Depends on how much longer you're going to work for. So let's say I still had another 5 years of work before I was going to retire. I would rather keep the silver, me personally, because it's real money. It's insurance, is what it is. So, what you would be asking yourself is this. Let's go ahead and put it a different way. Let's say that you had your house that was paid off, right? And you wanted to buy silver, right? Would you rather take your insurance off your house to buy silver, or keep your insurance on your house? You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say? I would rather just keep my insurance on my house and not buy the silver, because that is insurance for my house. And the coins, in comparison to the debt that you owe. I'm not explaining myself very well because I'm not very good at that kind of explaining on the spot. I have to think about it for a while. But comparing the coins that you have to the debt that you have, those coins are insurance. So if you're still going to be able to work for years to come, me personally, I would just pay the debt off slowly or as fast as I could. I would pay it off as fast as I could, but I would keep my coins, because I think that in the time that we're living in now, those coins are much more valuable than that debt is, right? And that debt is just that, debt. So if you're worried about paying off the debt, go ahead and get a side hustle and go ahead and pay it off quicker. Me personally, I would not get rid of my coins right now. I have a feeling that within the near future that silver and gold are going to be going up very, very quickly, because the system, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is pretty much done. We are in the last steps of this system. And when I mean the last steps, is like the last years. It's still going to take a few years before this finishes and we enter into a new paradigm. So I know I didn't explain that well, but I would just keep my coins and pay off my debt if I'm still going to work. If it's keeping you from being free, then pay off your debt and be free. All right. But I think those coins are very well worth having as far as insurance goes. Okay, let's see. That's right, Angela. Angela says, there is a way to put sleeper cells to sleep permanently, LOL. And yes, there is. It's called the Second Amendment. That's why you have it. That's why we have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Lisa, have a good night. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it good for today. Let me see. The band played. Is the Opes going to have a sale for Canada? You know what? That's a great question. Let me go ahead and email my rep on that and see if she can she'll probably get back to me by Monday or so, but I'll try to remember to put it on a video real quick. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it good for today. I am really, really, I was a bit way behind, not that way behind. Hey, Mario, how are you doing? Good to see you. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I wasn't really following the market today, but then I watched the video and someone said that gold went over 2,000. So gold is at 2016. Wow. Silver is a little over 23. I won't even start paying attention to silver until it's over 30. Once it gets over 30 and it breaks 50, the sky's the limit. Remember that. Once silver breaks $50, in my opinion, the sky's the limit. And I think that a year, let's just say 2 years from now, I think, my opinion, that by 2025, you'll see silver at $100, and that'll be the low. $100, three digits. Silver will be in three digits, at least $100 in the next couple of years. There's no way around it. I mean, silver is the number two most used commodity in the world, ladies and gentlemen, behind oil, meaning that we use oil for more things than anything else in the world. We use oil, number one. Number two, a lot of people don't know this, it's silver, right? And silver is not as abundant on the earth as many people may want to think. And we are running out of silver. Do you know that Elon Musk is either buying or has already bought a silver mine? Elon Musk is buying a silver mine, ladies and gentlemen. What does that tell you? All right. The U.S. Department of Defense and the EPA is raiding the U.S. silver hoard, right? Their stockpile. Why? Because they need it. One Tomahawk missile, right? One Tomahawk missile that we use to bring democracy throughout the world has 516 ounces of silver. One missile does. So yeah, silver, in my opinion, is going to be it's going to go up exponentially. I don't recommend. I never have recommended that you purchase silver as an investment, as a way to make money to get rich. But I do believe that silver's value will go up exponentially in addition to its nominal price. Ken Z, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. The next live is going to be next Friday, Emmanuel. I do believe I will be doing a live stream with Grayman on Grayman Prepping's channel. I believe maybe on Tuesday, but more to come on that. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the community, if you've just subscribed within the last couple of weeks, and or if this is your first live stream and you're still here, go ahead and put "I am new" in all caps. And during our outro, what we normally do is we'll go ahead and shout you out so you can see your name on the screen, and everyone in our community can welcome you. All right, so please go ahead and do that. And every Friday, whenever we have a live stream, we go ahead and do a Friday safety brief, and it's very brief. Get it? Brief. Just don't drink and drive, ladies and gentlemen. That's your safety brief. Go out and have a great time. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Get an Uber, get a taxi, get a designated driver. Okay. Other than that, I hope that you have a great weekend. You probably won't see anything from me here this Saturday. So we'll probably talk to you on Sunday. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. Thank you very much for joining in. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. And I got to find our outro. Stick around for our outro. Here it is.